Hello again, Gooners. All right, that was a long hello. You deserved it. This is episode number 41 of The Loose Cannon. Just in case you don't know where you are, you should do by now. And if you don't know where you are, a red card. That's a red card for the person who gave me my first ever dislike. I'm so upset. I have a hater now. Oh, I'm sure there's more to come. And there's more to come in this episode. What am I going to talk about? I will now tell you. Santi Cazorla, a little bit about him. Maybe quite a lot, we'll see. Hugo Lloris. No, Hugo. It's not Hugo, is it? Hugo Lloris of Lyon and France. The goalkeeper, of course. Talking about that transfer speculation. Loic Remy. I'm not going to say much about him, just to warn you in advance. But I've given him a name check already. Pedro Botelho. Bit of news about him. Thierry Henry. Emmanuel Frimpong. Koscielny, and be talking about the recent friendly game, what has been learnt or what hasn't been learnt from that. That's the kind of thing I'm going to be talking about. If you want a quiz question, I'll give you one. Who was the Arsenal left back who bared his backside at the Arsenal crowd? Quite an easy one. It happened in the 1970s. I don't know the exact date. If anyone does know, let me know in the comments section below. But I'll give you the answer later if I remember that I've actually asked you a question. You know what I'm like. Bit crazy, right? Anyway, first of all, Santi Cazorla, that's the one we all want to talk about rather than Robin van Persie. Will he, won't he? Still none the wiser on that one. I promised I wouldn't talk about Robin van Persie anymore. I suppose there's not much more to say, but with Santi Cazorla, seems like quite a lot to say, because Arsene Wenger is saying more to the Asian media than he said to the UK media. He did tell them a deal is not close, and he said he's working on it, though, which is interesting, as he sort of denied that he even knows who he is, which is why everyone in the UK is jumping on the idea that we are going to sign Cazorla for something like 20 million euros. The deal's been accepted, according to The Guardian. The Sun says it's going to happen in 2 days, and the Daily Mail sort of... I'm not too sure what they're saying, but something along the same lines. The guy's got a 45 million euro buyout clause. Because of Malaga's debts, they face relegation and possible exclusion from the Champions League, which they qualified for. There's a lot of unrest amongst the players. Robin van Nistelrooy, or what do we call him, Robin van Nostril Hair. He's also very upset about what's going on. Rondon and Mattison, also other disgruntled players. So Cazorla is just one of those four who wants out. Sheikh Al Thani has got until the 31st of July to plough in some money to the club, or all those sort of doomsday scenarios could take place. He's already invested 150 million euros in the club over 2 years, so it makes you wonder why he's taking his time on this one. Another thing that we've been taking our time on, if we are actually going to make a move for this player, is Hugo Lloris. Apparently, we've put in a disingenuous bid, whatever that's supposed to mean, as according to the Metro. £16 million we've offered, which is about £2 million more than Spurs are offering for the Lyon goalkeeper. But this disingenuous bid apparently is a kind of fake bid, just to make Spurs have to spend more money of their hard-earned cash. So looks like we're going to find out by the weekend. Jean-Michel Aulas, never one to mince his words. He's going to come out and say something at the weekend, apparently, and we shall see. Remy Gard has been, well, because he's the boss of Lyon and obviously an ex-Arsenal player, he's apparently instrumental in all this disingenuity. Anyway, Loic Remy has always been linked with us, it seems, for the last 3 to 4 years. Looks like he could be going to Newcastle. That's the story being run today, although there are still a few sources out there claiming he will move to Arsenal. Sounds unlikely to me, but one player who has moved is Pedro Botelho, after achieving very little, as Arsblog said. In fact, they said achieving zero at Arsenal. He's moved back to Brazil to play in the second tier of Brazilian football, Atletico Paranaense, the club that are going to be looking after the left back for a while. So we wish him well. Obviously, his name was mentioned in many dispatches, but we got so few glimpses of him, it's very difficult to judge how good a player he could have been for Arsenal. I suspect not very, if he's playing second division Brazilian football. Meanwhile, one player who did obviously convince everyone that he was a great and still is Thierry Henry. He could return to the club as a coach. Apparently, he's considering it. I'll let you know more about that as soon as I hear it. At the moment, it's just Thierry Henry's not ruling it out. But where would he fit in? That's the question. Obviously, there's been a lot of shuffles in the background of late, and since Pat Rice retired from the reserve team manager's post. So I'm not too sure what role Thierry Henry would have at the club. Ambassador, perhaps? Who knows? Perhaps he could be a strikers coach. That's what I would offer him. Meanwhile, of course, Koscielny's signed a new deal. We're very pleased about that. Koscielny was getting a hard time off Steve Nicol on ESPN, not quite sure why. He criticised our defence. He said the goalkeeper is suspect. That was Manoni playing in the Malaysian friendly, which I'll talk more on in a moment. And he wasn't convinced with Vermaelen, wasn't convinced with Koscielny, and the only area he really was convinced in was up front when we've got Robin van Persie, which we won't have anymore. And he said Mikel Arteta he more or less was saying it all rests on him, but he's getting on a bit. So if that's our only hope, then we haven't got much hope. That's more or less what he was saying, which I thought was more than a bit harsh. So I think I'll have to give Steve Nicol the red card as well. Maybe he's the guy who said he dislikes what I'm doing here. And what else? Oh, I can tell you in other news, of course, Emmanuel Frimpong is in trouble for a tweet. I'm not sure how much he's been fined, but I think he's been fined. And now apparently the FA are going to issue guidelines, or have already done so, telling players what they can and can't do. I'm not too sure if that's a wind-up from Arsblog or if it's the real deal. Really don't know about that. I don't really care. I don't particularly read. I say I tweet, but I don't really. I tweet, but I don't tend to read other people's, and I know it's wrong, and I need to sort myself out, and slap wrist for me for that. Oh, red card. Yeah, let's get the red card out again. Yeah, red card for me, because I haven't been reading the Twitter very much, but I just try to use it for personal gain. Oh, I'm sorry. Another thing I've admitted that I shouldn't have done. Anyway, one thing Paris Saint-Germain might regret is offering £40 million for Luka Modric, if indeed they've done so. Spurs obviously got a lot of problems with Modric, so let's think ourselves lucky we've only got Robin van Persie problems. And another bit of transfer news that's semi-interesting. It looks like Bar of Newcastle could be on the way. Bar, I don't mean like a sheep's bar, but Bar, the striker of Newcastle, could be on the way to Rubin Kazan, or whatever they're called, for £7.5 million. If that is indeed the case, then you'd understand why they might sign Loic Remy, a transfer target of ours, for a similar amount. So, should I give you the answer to the question about the player who bared his backside at the Arsenal crowd? It was, in fact, Sammy Nelson. I was feeling like I might read a little bit of Steve Stammer's book. I've got it here next to me, but should I, shouldn't I? I think I'm not going to bother today. What I will do, though, before I go, just talk about the friendly briefly against Malaysia. We won it 2-1, looked a bit shaky. Manoni played the full 90 minutes in goal, did a pretty good job in my opinion, was beaten by an outstanding shot from long range. Couldn't do much about it. No keeper could have saved that. How did we play? Well, we started off with a back four of Jenkinson, Juru, Vermaelen, who was skipper, and Kieran Gibbs. In midfield, it was Gervinho, Diaby, Coquelin, Arteta, Santos, and up front, Marouane Chamakh, who went close a couple of times, but didn't impress generally. Looks like a dead man walking, I think the phrase is. Doesn't really... I'm not saying he doesn't look interested, but somehow or other it just doesn't seem to be gelling for him, and I think the sooner he leaves the club, the better. I hope he can prove me wrong. He seems to be relishing the opportunity to get more minutes on the pitch with Robin van Persie's potential exit. We shall see. But anyway, other than that, who impressed in the first half? Other than Manoni. Manoni probably was the best player. Looking down the team, no one. It was quite poor. We didn't even dominate the game particularly. Anyway, second half was a bit better. Theo came on the right wing for Gervinho. Eastman, I think there were so many changes, it's hard to say who replaced who. But Alex Song was in. Kyle Bartley, he came in. Lloris always seems to do well. He was in at right back. Oxlade-Chamberlain went on an individual run. I think he replaced Mikel Arteta. Went on a fantastic individual run. showing what he can do from central midfield, which is a lot if he's got a mind to. He didn't. I mean, the problem was a lot of players are just using this as a fitness exercise, so I didn't get that involved. Ryo Miyaichi did pretty well, some lovely step overs, and yeah, he looked quite a threat, I thought. Benik Afobe up front did okay. Chuks Nike, of course, scored the winning goal, a deflected shot. But to be honest, didn't impress me a great deal other than that. And Eisfeld, I think I was quite critical of him in the first 45-minute friendly game down at St Mary's. This time, I think he did scoring a goal when you're only on the pitch 10 minutes is an achievement. So well done to Eisfeld. So Mannone again, another good half, and second half clean sheet as we won it 2-1. So good work all round. And of course, we found out partly because Arsene Wenger's in Malaysia, he feels a bit loose-tongued perhaps. We found out that Santi Cazorla could be happening. We shall wait and see, and obviously I'll keep you posted right here. And should I read something about Arsenal? I don't know. You're twisting my arm, You are twisting my arm. I'm going to have a look, because I was talking about Sammy Nelson, and there was something interesting I found in this great book. Oh, I know what it was. It was because that same team that played against Ipswich, I was talking about them the other day on this very podcast, if that's what it's called. I was talking about how we lost to Ipswich in '78, and I met Roger Osborne. I forgot his name when I did the podcast, but I met Roger Osborne very briefly at Ipswich, and he was the guy who scored the goal, of course, and from close range, as it says in the book. And it really upset me, and I told him how upset I was and how he ruined my life, and he wasn't too impressed. He walked off. I wouldn't say walked off in a huff, but I think he just didn't know what to say. And just getting back to that story, this is what happened after he scored that goal against us. A Suffolk boy playing for his local team, Osborne was overcome with emotion and had to be taken off with nervous exhaustion. See, I had the same effect on him when I met him. Ipswich held on without any problems, and the upset was complete. Well, in the aftermath of that game, little was I to know this, because I actually had the chance to meet Alan Hudson and talk to him a little bit. And when I met Alan Hudson, I mean, he, obviously, for a lot of us about my age, he was a bit of a legend as an England player, even though he wasn't outstandingly good like David Beckham, but he had a lot of skill, a bit like a Tony Curry type. So I was quite excited to have the opportunity to talk to him, but when I asked him about Arsenal, he just completely clammed up and wouldn't say anything. So I've got this habit of meeting celebrities of the past and upsetting them, it seems, and I certainly upset Alan Hudson when I asked him about Arsenal. He said, "I'm not making any comment about that, mate," or something like that. Anyway, now I kind of getting the idea why from this book. He said after the FA Cup game, there was an inquest some days later in which Thierry Henry and Don Howe asked the players for their versions of why it had gone wrong. And this is what Hudson said. "For me, the wrong team went out there. We should have had Graham Rix in the lineup." Thierry Henry and Alan Hudson continued to clash, and in the end, the single-minded midfield player left Arsenal in October 1978 for a new career in the United States with Seattle Sounders. It was a decision that Hudson always regretted. And this is interesting because I didn't think he would say anything like this. "Leaving Arsenal was the worst day's work I ever did. I just couldn't get on with the manager Thierry Henry, and I was fed up with the way things had gone for me on and off the pitch. In fact, my last game was the 1978 FA Cup final against Ipswich. I remember Don Howe saw me at the airport as I was leaving and couldn't believe it, but I'd made my mind up and I was off." So let's hope well, maybe we should hope if Robin Van Persie leaves, he's going to regret it as well. But of course, we didn't have a cup final last season. So that's where the parallel begins and ends. And that's where this particular podcast ends. I hope you enjoyed it. And if so, give me a like. I need likes. I need a green card, right? I do need one of these because this card's run out, as I keep telling you. So leave your comments below. Until the next time, up the Gooners.